There are a few first-person shooter titles that have always been at the top of the list in the gaming industry. One in particular stood out when it was released in the late 90s. It looked good on any machine it was played on, and when it was run with 3D acceleration, people couldn't believe what they were seeing. It combined classic science fiction with thoughtful level design, art direction, and of course music. This led to 8 titles being published, dozens of awards, and millions of copies being sold. In this episode of Diamonds in the Rough, we're listening to music from Unreal. And we're starting with music from the first game, which was released in 1998. This is All Hallows Sunset, composed by Alexander Brandon. That was All Hallows Sunset by Alexander Brandon, which plays at the Narpali Haven level. Brandon has worked in the industry for many years, with an impressive resume that includes audio production, direction, voiceovers, and sound effects as well as music. He worked on other titles from Epic Games like Jazz Jackrabbit 2 and Deus Ex. If you're a Bejeweled fan, you'll know his work from Bejeweled 3. He's got a certain sound that's immediately identifiable, so let's hear a little bit more from the original Unreal. This next track is called Dusk Horizon. Unreal Tournament was released in 1999 and was released on the PC as well as the Mac, the PS2 and later on Sega's Dreamcast. It won 17 industry awards and was nominated for many more. To date, it sold millions of copies worldwide. This time, the focus of the game was solely multiplayer. It included a number of game modes including the tried and true Capture the Flag as well as Deathmatch, and Last Man Standing and Assault. Composer Michael Vandenbos returned with his colleagues from studio Straylight Run. They wrote iconic music for the iconic levels, with the map DM Deck 16 being a standout. Even to this day, it's considered one of the best multiplayer maps ever crafted. It's asymmetrical, it's got multiple levels and a mixture of open areas and narrow spaces, which made it a perfect fit for the range of weapons included in the game. It let gamers play to their strengths and their playstyles as they saw fit. Even though the game was released over 2 decades ago, if you log on today, you're certain to find a server running this map. Here's the track Go Down, which is the music from DM Deck 16. UT cemented the series as a serious contender for multiplayer deathmatch supremacy, and the reception of the game meant a sequel would be sure to follow. At the end of 2002, Epic released Unreal Tournament 2003. It sold well, but not as well as its predecessor. This time around, composers Kevin Ripple and Starsky Partridge composed the music. Kevin Ripple has also composed music for other games, including Gears of War 1 and 2. He had a hand in the Borderlands 2 expansion pack Mr. Torg's Campaign of Carnage, as well as Aliens Colonial Marines and Rocket League, among many others. The music for UT2K3 echoed the ambient style of the previous games, but this time also added an element of metal and rock. Like Unreal Tournament, the game's focus was on multiplayer only and added a few new game modes, including my favourite, Bombing Run. This is a kind of American football meets basketball meets futuristic first-person shooter. Here's one of the classic tracks from UT2K3, creatively named Level 2. You were just listening to Level 2 from Unreal Tournament 2003. You're listening to Diamonds in the Rough. After years of focusing on multiplayer, the franchise returned to story mode in 2004 with Unreal 2 The Awakening. Legend Entertainment, who had worked on the very first Unreal mission pack, Return to Narpali, were brought on to develop the title. Unreal 2 didn't fare as well as its predecessors, partly being a victim of the hype machine that was gaming news websites of the time. But some big names were involved in the score, including Clint Bajakian and Jeremy Soule. The game also kicked Jack Wall's career into the A-Leagues, as he went on to compose for such titles as Myst 4, Mass Effect 1 and 2, Call of Duty Black Ops 2, 3 and 4, as well as the ever-popular Dota 2. The music for Unreal 2 returns to its cinematic ambient style. Here's the music from the Izanagi forward-based level Sulferon. Unreal Tournament 2004 followed Unreal 2. This release used the bulk of the content from UT2K3, including the music. It did include new material though, notably the Onslaught game mode, where vehicles were introduced and used heavily for the first time, which was a breath of fresh air. This led UT2K4 to review scores that were consistently in the high 90s, and it also garnered a number of awards and nominations. Kevin Ripple led the development of the music, joined again by Starsky Partridge and Will Nevins. In addition to the music from UT2K3, they added new tracks for the new maps as well. Let's have a listen to the track Serenity. That was Serenity from UT2K4. While the Unreal series was really designed as a PC game, mouse and keyboard being the ideal devices to play a first-person shooter, versions were made for consoles as well. Unreal Championship 2, the Leandry Conflict, was released on the Xbox as an exclusive in 2005, and featured a third-person mode and melee weapons for the first time. For unknown reasons, Raiden from Mortal Kombat is an unlockable player in the game. Kevin Ripple composed the music. Here's the track Transistor. was Transistor from Unreal Championship 2, The Leandry Conflict. You're listening to Diamonds in the Rough, and in this episode we're listening to music from the Unreal series. 2007 was the last year that a commercial release was made in the series. Unreal Tournament 3 saw versions on the PC and the PS3, and about 6 months later it made it to the Xbox 360. This time around, Jesper Kyd of Assassin's Creed fame and Rom DePrisco, who composed a lot of the music for the Need for Speed series, and now is probably better known for the music he did in Fortnite, worked on the music for UT3. They lent heavily on the earlier material, remixing some of the tracks and re-recording others. Since we haven't actually listened to the main theme yet, here's the Unreal Tournament title, UT3 Remix by Jesper Kyd and Rom DePrisco. A fresh take on an old classic. UT3 didn't get as much love as it deserved, but we're going to give it some more love now and listen to a little bit more music from the title. Here's the Deimos theme. Since UT3, Epic has taken a different approach to their business model. Using open software and crowdsourcing the development, a new game called simply Unreal Tournament has been in the works from 2014, but it was put on pause in 2018. A huge amount of community content is included in the still playable game, and part of that content includes the music. The song Chasing Voids by Timothy Seals stands out. That was Chasing Voids by Timothy Seals. Seals isn't the only top-notch community composer that's been involved in the Unreal Tournament project. Fabian Houston has put in a number of hours himself and he's come up with some gems, some real diamonds in the rough. One in particular that stands out to me is the music for the map DM Ironic. It's got a modern touch that echoes the sounds of the past. So here's the music for DM Ironic. A great track from a game that we hope will see the light of day. We've covered over 2 decades of Unreal history in today's episode of Diamonds in the Rough, but we've got time for a couple more tracks. This next one is less a diamond in the rough and more a classic that everyone loves, but it's so good it's worth including here. This is Skyward Fire from Unreal Tournament. Skyward Fire from the Eternal Unreal Tournament. You've been listening to Diamonds in the Rough. We've got time for one more track, and it seems fitting that we end with the end credits music from Unreal Tournament. If you've been enjoying Diamonds in the Rough, consider sharing, liking, and subscribing. And if you're that into it, hit the little bell icon so that you get informed the next time I upload another episode. It's been great taking a trip down memory lane today. Unreal and Unreal Tournament are some of my favourite games of all time, and I know they're near and dear to many gamers' hearts. We don't know what's next for the franchise, but I think it's safe to say that it's not over yet. There's so much content that already exists that when the next installment happens, there's certainly going to be enough content to make another episode. And we're going to start as we finished with some more great music from the mid-90s. Here's Room of Champions, the end credits music for Unreal Tournament. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode.